Okay, welcome back in. I'm going to continue my 32 and 32. I'll be taking a look at the San Francisco 49ers. As you can see on their screen, they would finish fourth in the NFC West with a record of 6 and 11. And I'll just be the first one to say it if I haven't said it before 100 times. Injuries just killed the 49ers season. Think about all the injuries and main games that they lost because of players getting hurt, whether it's during games, practices, preseason, whatever the case may be. Is the big X factor for me as to why they suffered was because their run game definitely wasn't the same without Christian McCaffrey in their lineup. So a team that had Super Bowl aspirations. I mean, they just went to the Super Bowl last year against the Chiefs. Unfortunately, they lost that game, and there are such things as like championship hangovers. Well, I mean, they lost the Super Bowl, and then they just weren't able to recover from that. So, a very extremely disappointing season. If there was one team that definitely had a more disappointing season, I can't think anybody else other than the 49ers because they were so good and so competitive, and they made this playoffs, I think, three of the last or 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. So it definitely, if you're a 49ers fan, you definitely suffered, to say the least, this past year. Okay, we'll take a look at their team stats to start things off. We'll take a look at their regular season schedule. Again, the preseason doesn't mean jack, and if they did, they were 1-1-1, 1-1, lost one, and tied one. So they start the season off on a good note, winning against the Jets. They would lose two games to the Vikings and Rams, respectively. They would beat the Patriots, lose to the Cardinals, win against the Seahawks, lose to the Chiefs, win against the Cowboys. And I'll just put it this way, heading into the week nine bye week, if you're winning one, losing one, winning one, losing one, winning one, losing one, that's not a very good recipe for success, especially if you're trying to be competitive and not only a division title, but a playoff spot as well. So coming out of their bye week, they would defeat the Buccaneers. They would go on a three-game losing streak, losing to the Seahawks, Packers, and Bills respectively, finally defeating the Bears. And then after that, they would lose four straight games to the Rams, Dolphins, Lions, and the Cardinals. So they definitely shot themselves in the foot. They were basically 6-6 after week 14 and then lost four straight games, obviously not making the playoffs. 6-10 is where they would finish the year at. Now, the players' individual stats. Brock Purdy under center. He had an okay year, 3,864 passing yards, a 65.93 completion percentage, 20 touchdowns to 12 picks. That's basically like a 2-to-1 ratio when it came to that aspect. George Kittle, because of injuries to Deebo Samuel, he led the team in receiving yards. He had 1,106 yards on 78 catches and 8 touchdowns. Juwan Jennings was right behind him. We had 975 receiving yards, 77 receptions, and 6 touchdowns. Jordan Mason, the running back, would finish with 789 rushing yards because of the injury to McCaffrey on 153 attempts and 3 touchdowns. And Isaac Guerndo, I believe, the other running back, would finish with 420 rushing yards, 64 on 84 attempts, I should say, and 4 touchdowns. On the defensive side of things, Nick Bosa, the defensive end, would finish with 9 sacks. He had 33 total tackles, 1 forced fumble, and 1 interception. Fred Warner, their middle linebacker, would finish with 76 tackles. He had 1 sack, 4 forced fumbles, and 2 interceptions. And he led the team in interceptions with 2 picks. Again, 76 tackles, 4 forced fumbles. We'll take a look at their special teams. So Jake Moody, the kicker, would finish with 24 field goals on 34 attempts. So he did miss 10 field goals. So his field goal percentage was 70.59. Not that great. Mitch Wisnowski, the punter, would finish with 994 yards, 22 punts, 45.18 was his average on that. Now, I should have done this as when I was looking at the team stats. This is my bad. As you can see the standings, they would finish fourth in the NFC West. Overall, when it came to their offense, they were in like the top 5 in a lot of categories. Passing yards, they had 4,237, fourth. Receiving yards, they were 4,424, fourth. First downs, they had 115 first downs, fourth. Rushing yards, they were 12th in the league. I guarantee if McCaffrey was not hurt, they would have finished in the top 10, possibly in the top 5 as well. They would finish with 2,163 yards, and points, they had 389, 14th in the league. Now we'll take a look at their defense. Their defense definitely struggled, to say the least. They were 24th in the league. They had 37 sacks. Interceptions, they were 20th in the league with 11. Forced fumbles, they were 18th in the league with 13. And tackles, they were 23rd with 642. So their defense definitely took a bit of a hit this past season. On special teams, they would finish 10th in the league in field goals made with 33. Their field goal percentage, they were 27th, near the bottom of the league with 76.7%. Their extra points made, they were 11th in the league with 38, and their extra point percentage, they were 20th in the league. They had 95% when it came to the extra points. So again, a very disappointing season for the 49ers. I guarantee if they weren't riddled with injuries at almost every position on their team, they would have finished with an above 500 record. Hell, they could have had the exact opposite record. They could have finished 11-6 and won out the NFC West, because I'm pretty sure the Rams only have 10 wins on the season. So again, it could have been there, but unfortunately, like I said, injuries played a major factor into why the 49ers weren't that successful. Going into next year, again, as long as everybody can stay healthy, that's the key word, is healthy. Can everybody stay healthy? I think the 49ers should be competitive again next year. They should get the NFC West crown again. Not trying to disrespect the Rams or the Seahawks or the Cardinals, but just on paper, when you look at the roster that they have, and because they won out the NFC West the last 2 years before not making it this year, and being so competitive, making it to the NFC Championship game in 22-23, making it to the Super Bowl in the 23-24 season, there's no reason why this team should take any steps backwards. If anything, they should start taking more steps forward and being competitive again. And I think if they can get the NFC West crown again, depending on where they finish 1 through 4 in the standings in the NFC side of things, they could have home field advantage again next year, or at least in a wild card or possibly division round matchup next season. So I'm all in on the 49ers. I think they're still in a win now mode. They got a very young team, very good team, and like I can't rave enough about the 49ers of how good they are. And I'm not a 49ers fan by any means. I don't cheer for really any team in the NFC with that aspect. But I just look at the team that they have, and they should be really good. They should finish with a better record than 6-11 next season. Let's be realistic about that. And if for some reason they're healthy and they have a poor record, then obviously they got to change a lot of things, whether it's coaching, players, or whatever the case may be is. But again, with any team, if you lose key players, running backs, quarterbacks, receivers, whatever it is, you're definitely not going to be the same without them, because no two people are alike. So if you replace a quarterback, well, that quarterback would play a different game. And if you replace a running back, well, then that might change your whole offensive side of things, what you're going to be doing when it comes to play calling. So again, I don't think that the 49ers are taking any steps back. I don't think they're going to be going into a retool, rebuild anytime soon. They're still a very competitive team, and I have optimism for the 49ers moving forward. All right, that's going to take care of this review. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative as well. Until next time, and as always, take care.